Hello, hello, my brothers and sisters. This is Garrett Bake, your brother in arms, and welcome to another episode of The Tactical Businessman. Today's topic, how to lead an intentional life. That's right. That means on purpose. So listen, this in and of itself, this conversation could be like a docu-series on like PBS or on Netflix. How to lead an intentional life. But listen, we're going to get super tactical about this, which is cutting to the chase. Because at the end of the day, my only goal is to help you get tools to what? Be more successful in your life. Like to get what you want. If it's more money, cool, you can apply it that way. If it's more sex, yep, you can apply it that way. If it's more connection and purpose, ditto. It doesn't matter what you want in life. If you apply these tactics, you will achieve them, period. So let's talk about living an intentional life. Most of us want a better life. We're not content with where things are right now. We want a better marriage. We want more connection and purpose. We want more money in our bank account. We want a business that runs better. We want to work less. We want to go on vacation more. Like we want all of these things, right? And so we try and switch off the autopilot of life. We try and switch it off and say, okay, what can I do? What can I do that's going to get me that way or that place? It's going to get me to where I want to go. And so the first thing we start with is books, right? Or audiobooks. Or some of you, it's YouTube. Like we start researching, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Oh, well, Tony Robbins says this. Let me write it down. Good. Okay. All right. So who else? Deepak Chopra. He says this. Okay. All right. And we end up filling notebooks full of really good information, like really good information. The problem is, it's not practical information. Like, how do you apply all the good information that's in the world? You can't. Literally, you can't. Trust me, I've tried. I spent 2 years going to seminars and events and all kinds of things. Tony Robbins, Landmark, and some other ones scattered in between, buying books, listening to people who are making millions of dollars. All of these things, like I tried to do, thinking that one of them would give me what? The shortcut. One of them would give me the answer that I needed to hear. And none of them did. None of them did. Shocking, I know. Surprises you and surprises me as well. But then I started to think about what made me successful as a police officer. And more specifically, what made me successful at shooting a gun. That's right. Shooting a gun has everything to do with living an intentional life. Let me show you how. When I first started my police career, I literally had never shot more than like a .22 rifle. For those of you who are familiar with weapons, it's a pea shooter. For those of you who are not, think of it as a kid's toy. Like I'd never really shot a gun. So come to the police academy and guess what? You're going to learn how to shoot. And we had to learn the basics. We had to learn how to hold the gun. We had to learn how to press the trigger. We had to learn how the sights at the top of the gun worked, how to align that with what? With the target that we are trying to hit. Sometimes the target was a circle. Sometimes it was the silhouette of a person. It didn't matter. We were always trying to focus on hitting the target. And guess what? When I first started, sucked. Sucked horribly because I'd pull the trigger too hard, so I'd miss to the left. Or I'd be squeezing the gun too hard and I'd miss to the right. Or I'd anticipate the shot coming out and I'd shoot too low. Like there was always something going on with my ability to control and manipulate the weapon to where I couldn't hit the target. And I get frustrated and I get pissed. And I'd always told, slow down, focus on the basics, focus. What is it that you're trying to do? You're trying to hit the target, so slow down. And I would focus on the basics, and eventually I got better, and I got better, and I got better. And the one thing that got me better, reps. That's right. Over and over and over again. So finally, I got pretty good at shooting at a stationary target, right? And I had to in order to graduate the police academy. But they offered something called an expert pin, and I got my expert pin, right? I shot this qualifying course with a certain score. So I got my expert pin, and I carried that for all my career. And that's one of the things that I was really proud of, right? This expert pin. Like I can shoot this qualifying course at different distances, aiming at different parts of the body. I can be an expert shooter. And so like I really enjoyed that. Then I learned that there was another level. So I started off as a patrol officer, and then I really wanted to be on the SWAT team. So I started training for that. And I started incorporating moving and shooting, which was me moving, the target staying stationary. I would slide one step to the left. I would slide one step to the right. I would move towards the target. I'd back up away from the target. And at first, again, I sucked, but reps. I knew what my target was. I knew I wanted to hit it. I just needed to figure out how to hit it. Like, what actions did I need to take? What behaviors did I need to learn in order to hit the target? And after a while, I got pretty good at hitting a target while I was moving and the target was staying still. And wouldn't you know, that was part of the qualifications for getting on the SWAT team. So I got on the SWAT team and I was like, all right, I have arrived. This is what I want. And then I learned that there was another level. And this level was a moving target. I was stationary and the target was moving. Like, literally, we had targets tied or clamped onto this machine that would rotate the target to the left and to the right in front of me. And you could vary the speed, like going fast, going slow, but moving nonetheless. And guess what happened when I started to try and hit that target? I missed. Yes, I missed horribly, multiple times. And so what did I have to learn? I had to learn a new set of patterns and behaviors to help me hit my target, right? I had to learn that I had to anticipate where the shot was going to be or where the target was going to be. So I had to lead the target in order for me to what? To hit the target when it got there. And so this required what? It required practice and repetition and repetition and repetition and over and over and over again until I figured it out, until I started to hit the target. Not the end of it though, right? There's always another level. So the next one was what? Distance. I had never shot more than 30 yards with a handgun. Most gunfights, if you're a police officer, happen 30 yards and in. So that's where you practice, right? Plus, handguns are not very effective at greater distance anyways. Well, not on the SWAT team, right? We're going to practice for the things that may happen. And one of those was shooting from distance. So we went out to 50 yards first, and then we went out to 100 yards. And guess what I wasn't doing? Hitting the target. I'm like super slow, controlling my breathing, controlling my trigger press, and not doing any anticipation with my gun. Squeeze the trigger, boom, shot goes off, miss the target. I'm like, I'm aiming for center mass. I'm aiming for the center of his chest. Why is it that I'm not hitting the target? And I do it again, and I miss again, do it again, and I miss again, and over and over and over. And I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting pissed off. And I'm like, why in the hell is this happening? Why am I not able to hit the target? So the instructor comes over, and he goes, have you ever shot from distance before? I was like, no, isn't that obvious? And he chuckles. But he says, what you have to take into account in distance shooting, i.e. greater than probably 30 yards or 35 yards, is something called windage and elevation. And I was like, what and what? Windage and elevation. So he proceeded to school me, educate me on the fact that you have to now at distance take into account wind, i.e. if there's a breeze coming from the left or the right, but also elevation. Because we live on the earth, there's something called gravity. And gravity wants to pull everything down, including a bullet. So at distance, right, at 100 yards, you're looking at least a 4-inch drop. With a rifle. Handgun, it's even more, depending on the velocity of the bullet. So the reason I wasn't hitting the target is not because I wasn't aiming at the target, but based on where I was at, I wasn't aiming at the right place. So trying to hit the target based on the specific set of skills that I had up to that point was not accomplishing the goal. It was not doing what I needed to do. I was not hitting the target. So I had to change what? I had to change the input. I had to change what I was aiming at. I had to change how I was aiming. And then I had to practice reps. I had to implement these things. And guess what happened? Eventually, figured it out. If I wanted to hit center mass, I had to aim for the head. That's right, the head. And I would hit center mass, right? If there was a breeze coming from the left, Then I'd have to scooch over to the left a little bit. From the right, the other way. And so I started to understand that in order to hit these targets, I had to be intentional about my actions. And it started, again, when I first started to shoot. I had to be intentional about how I was holding the gun, how I was squeezing the trigger, whether I was anticipating the shot or not, how I was looking at sight alignment. I had to be intentional about that, and I learned that. And the next level, okay, I'm moving now, the target's staying still. I had to learn what? I had to learn the exact same thing. How am I holding my gun? How am I anticipating? Am I taking a shot in between steps? Am I making sure that both of my feet are on the ground first? Like, how is it that I'm doing this? Moving target, same thing. What was my target? I had to be intentional about my actions. I have to lead the target based on the speed of the target and learn how to do that. And then finally, at distance, I had to be intentional about how far away I was. I had to be able to calculate that so that I was aiming at a different point, knowing that the impact point was going to be where I needed it to be. You just got 11 minutes of education on how to shoot a gun. No, you can't take that to the range. If you do have a good range instructor, he'll teach you. But here's the point. The entire point of the last 11 minutes has been there is a way for you to succeed in life based on your ability not only to see the target, but to hit the target. Here's the thing. How many people at New Year's set this intention to lose weight? I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to lose 25 pounds. I want to lose. And how many of those people actually end up losing the weight? It's probably less than 5%. That'll be an interesting number to look up. But most people don't hit their target. Why? Because they aren't intentional about it. They're not changing their behavior to hit the target. So they get pissed off and frustrated when it doesn't happen because they simply want to. It doesn't happen until they give up. Okay, they want a better relationship, right? Open communication. They want to have more sex. All right, I'm going to sit here and listen to my wife talk. I've been here 5 minutes. She's still talking. 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes is good. All right, honey, I listened to you for 10 minutes. Now let's go have sex. And she says, no. And the man gets pissed off and frustrated and gives up. Like, it's no wonder why this happens. There's no intentional action. There's no modification of the behaviors in order to hit the target that you're trying to hit. Same thing when it comes to making more money, whether you own a business or not. Simply wanting to make more money is not going to guarantee you more money. Something's not working right now, or something is getting the results that you have right now. And in order to get those new results, your behaviors and your life have to change. You have to be intentional about wanting to hit that target. So regardless of what it is that you want in life, wanting it enough is not going to get it. So an intentional life means we have targets that force us, that's right, force us to focus with the end in mind. Because if you really want to hit the target, you're going to do whatever it takes to hit that target, which means your patterns and your behaviors must shift. They must change. And this isn't a once a week thing or a twice a week or a once a month. Your daily habits are what drive whether you hit that target or not. So the question I have for you is, do you really want to hit that target or not? Because you can tell yourself all day long that you do, but until your patterns and your behaviors change to match the target, it's never going to happen. If I didn't, when I was first learning to shoot a gun, figure out sight alignment and trigger control, then I never would have hit my target. Never. And every level required what? A modification in the behaviors that I learned in order to hit that target. And so it is in your life. You want to hit targets, you have to change your behaviors to match the outcomes that you're after. Period. Doesn't matter if it's with your body, doesn't matter if it's with your relationship, doesn't matter if it's in your business right now. If it's not happening the way you want it to, It's not your business that has to change. It's not your wife. It's not your body. It's you and your daily habits. And it can be accomplished. It can be accomplished. Okay, that is it for today's episode. Listen, if you're interested on how to lead an intentional life, i.e., how to hit the targets that you want by changing your daily patterns and behaviors, reach out. We'll have a conversation. Or you can go to thetacticalbusinessman.com. There we talk about an experience where, you guessed it, it's pattern interrupt. It's showing you how to actually hit the targets that you want in life. That's it for today. As always, the most important thing is to win the daily war. And how do we win the daily war? That's right. We got to have new patterns, new habits, new behaviors that will lead us to victory. As always, my brothers and sisters, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one.